See if this works. I'd like to call the meeting of the Morristown Township Board of Education to order. The reorganization meeting of the Morristown Township Board of Education is called to order. The meeting is called in conformance with the Open Public Meetings Act with adequate notice provided as follows. Notice filed with Courier Post on July 1st, 2021. Notice filed with Burlington County Times on July 1st, 2021. Can I have a moment of silence, please? I'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, justice for all. Would the newly elected board members please join me at the front? I state your name.
I, Cheryl Fowler,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
and to the governments established in the United States and this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Jill Fallows Macaluso,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law
for the office of member of the Board of Education,
for the office of member of a Board of Education,
and not disqualified as voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1,
am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1,
and not disqualified due to conviction of a crime
or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1,
or offense listed in NJSA 18A:12-1,
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God. I would like to now open the floor for nominations for the office of Board of Education President.
I'd like to nominate someone. I'd like to nominate Mark Villanueva for president.
Do I hear any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Mick Weeks.
Do I hear any other nominations? Okay. So in accordance with board policy, we can do this either by roll call vote of all the board members, or we can do this by a written ballot. Typically, we do it by roll call vote, but that is at the discretion of the board. So opening that now. Roll call. Okay. Dr. Alberti.
Oh, I'm fine with that too, but I just have a question. Is there going to be an opportunity to discuss the candidates, or do we just move right into voting?
There absolutely could be an opportunity to discuss the candidates, absolutely.
I don't know how this works. What's the process?
Yes, floor is open to the board to,
Sure, since I made the nomination, I feel compelled to provide the rationale for nominating Mark Villanueva for president. And I believe that the community and this board needs a clear and decisive leader, and he's always recognized and pushed what the government and public officials are now recognizing and pushing for, which is that our children need to be in school for in-person learning, and that it's highly detrimental to keep them out of schools and results in not only learning loss, but socio-emotional issues and a mental health crisis. And these qualities that I observed in Mark, these leadership qualities, were over the course of the past year when this was the most front and center issue. But I believe that the capabilities that I've observed would serve him really well in a leadership capacity. He's got a good understanding of the roles and responsibilities of the Board of Education vis-a-vis the administration, and he's demonstrated that through his understanding of policy versus operations. He's clear and transparent. We always sort of know where Mark stands, and I really appreciate that about him. He contributes a lot during public sessions, and so the community always felt as though they understood the what and the why behind what he was standing for. And last but not least, I'd really like to see him in the role because I think he's very creative, innovative, and forward-thinking, and really has a passion for challenging the status quo. And I think that diversity of thought at this table in a leadership role is what we need to take us into the future. So that's why I nominated him. Thank you.
I can go next. No, I mean, I nominated Mick. I find Mick incredibly thoughtful, very caring, and I've never had a conversation where the most important thing and the thing driving the conversation was the students. That's similar to how I see it. I think that is essential in this context. And I have the utmost confidence that in a board of 9, Mick is incredibly capable of weighing different viewpoints that are warranted and wanted in a board of 9. And I think would be able to navigate that very well in the context of sort of being decisive and helping us to sort of formulate our thoughts. So that was my thought. And that's why I am 100% supportive of Mick as president.
I'd like to speak next as, I guess, now officially the senior most board member on this board as of tonight, that I support Mick's nomination as president. I will say one thing, kind of building on Mrs. Macaluso, that I know where Mick stands, not just because what he says in public, but also because what he says in committee, what he says in one-on-one conversations, that I'm never surprised that it always comes back to what is best for the student. I think similarly to the words mentioned about Mark Villanueva, I think Mick has done an outstanding job in his 2 terms on the board of pushing thinking out of the box creatively, bringing his experiences from outside the board, his day job, his passions, his interests, to influencing and bringing Morristown to the next levels of innovation and seeing solutions where we might not obviously see them in a very responsible but yet innovative.
Just a second. All right, thank you. All right, so now we will go through a roll call. When your name is called, please state the candidate that you are voting for. Dr. Alberti,
I would like to vote for Mick Weeks.
Ms. Arcaro Burns,
Mick Weeks.
Mr. Fairchild,
Mr. Weeks.
Ms. Falves Macaluso,
Mark Villanueva.
Mrs. Makopoulos,
Mark Villanueva.
Ms. Romano,
Mick Weeks.
Dr. Snyder,
Mick Weeks.
Mr. Villanueva, Mr. Weeks,
Maurice Weeks. Six.
Total is 6-2. Congratulations. Comment now or after Vice President? Like to now open the floor for nominations for the office of Vice President.
Yes, I'd like to nominate Dr. Mark Snyder for Vice President.
Any other nominations at this time? Hearing none, I'm going to close the floor for nominations for Vice President. When your name is called, please vote for the candidate of your choice. Dr. Alberti,
I would like to vote for Dr. Mark Snyder. Please.
Ms. Arcara Burns,
Dr. Mark Snyder.
Mr. Fairchild,
Dr. Schneider.
Mrs. Fowles Macaluso,
Snyder.
Mrs. Makopoulos,
Dr. Snyder.
Ms. Romano,
Dr. Snyder.
Mr. Snyder,
Mark.
Mr. Villanueva, Mr. Weeks.
Dr. Mark Snyder.
Congratulations. This time, Mr. President, the floor is yours.
So thank you, Mr. Secretary. I'm really appreciative of the honor that my colleagues have bestowed upon me. The words that were uttered, I really touched me, and I appreciate those. And whether you voted for me or not, I will seek to do my best in this role and help us all work together. I feel like we have among the most talented boards I've ever seen, and I think we have a lot of potential. I'm really looking forward to working with you all to continue to improve Morristown's schools and keep things moving in the right direction in the service of our students. So thank you all again. All right. So now, I guess I got to start doing the official stuff. So I'd like to make a motion, or I'm sorry, to request a motion, excuse me. I'll learn. I'd like to request a motion to open public comment.
So moved.
Okay. Discussion, all in favor? Okay, so now like to invite the public that's in attendance to come up to the mic. Please state your name and address. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. As you know, this isn't necessarily a question and answer period, as it's always best to follow up with an email. Please do not address board members individually. Please be respectful in making public comment. So is there anyone who would like to make public comment?
Hi, Claudine Morano, 425 Oldershaw Avenue. Congratulations to the new board members and Mr. Weeks and Dr. Snyder. Just being your first organizational meeting, I think you've heard a great deal from the community since probably the summer, that there's a desire to have these meetings virtually so that there could be greater participation. Parking lot's empty. There's a lot of people home with kids who are quarantining that weren't able to participate and would have wanted to. So I strongly request, and I've made this public comment at least 10 times, that you consider doing Zoom meetings again and more permanently, just like town council's doing it. So they're doing hybrids. So.
Thanks for your comment. Anyone else? Seeing no additional people coming to the mic, I'd like to ask for a motion to close public comment. Yeah, why don't we put that in? Go ahead. Yeah, let's do the vote to close. You got the second. Okay, so all in favor? Any opposed, abstentions? Okay. Let's move on to superintendent's comments then, please, Mr. Volpe.
Thank you so much, Mr. President, and congratulations to the new board members. I look forward to working with you. I just have some brief public comments. As you can imagine, this has been an incredibly challenging time to transition as a new superintendent. I'm still getting to know some people's names and know our processes and procedures in here before I'm able to move forward with anything that I'm looking forward to in the future. I've received dozens and dozens of emails from you for a variety of reasons, but honestly, most of them have been around COVID. So there's a couple of things that I did want to address. To be clear, throughout the entire state, this year is different than last year or even the year before. When we all first got unexpectedly hit with COVID, boards and administrators were trying to pull ideas out of the air. Do we close schools? Do we not close schools? Do we do hybrid? How do we do this? How do we do that? That is no longer the case. The state has made it very clear that it would like to have in-person learning for as much as possible for our students. And there are two reasons that a superintendent would talk to the board about closing schools for remote instruction. Those specific two reasons are that the rate of in-school transmission is high enough, and the Board of Health recommends that we shut down. I know there's numbers out there on the news and things in the community, but it's about the in-school transmission and coordination with the Board of Health. The second reason would be that my dedicated teaching staff would be mandated to quarantine for some reason, and we might not have enough substitutes to come in and cover for them. And we would have a lack of staffing at that point because the teachers don't have any choice as to whether or not they would want to quarantine if they were positive. So those are the only two reasons in conjunction with the Board of Health. When I had interviewed with this board, one of the things that I think they liked about me is I talked about there's no one person who can make the right decisions about all of this. I believe in good process, and good process leads to good outcomes. The state has put forth a process, and we will follow that process to try and keep our schools open or make informed decisions if we have to close. If we do have to close schools, we have a board-approved plan. I believe it was approved in September or October as to what virtual instruction looks like. Right now, we only have virtual instruction for students who have to quarantine. My teachers need to be able to teach those students as well as the students in front of them. And unfortunately, people can't pick and choose along with our state-approved and board-approved plan that we have right there. So I know I've been getting a lot of emails about that, so I wanted to do that. If you're interested in helping us as a community member, and I mean this, and Ms. Butler will probably be very happy that I say this, the best thing that a community member could do outside of sending us remarkable children is consider becoming a substitute. If I've looked at the substitute roles over the past 3 years, it has gone down and down and down. And if we have more substitutes, the more likely we are to cover everything that we need to do. So that's a main thing too. So I know this is all a heavy subject, but I want to also let you know I have been happy. I have visited every school since I have been here. I got to 4 different schools today. I've seen remarkable students doing remarkable things, and I'm very happy to be here in Morristown. And then finally, on another note, I know on Sunday you got a call from me that you would hear from me again on Monday morning. That is not going to be typical before a weather event, and we have a couple this week. What spurred it on was we were coming back from a long winter break, and there was snow, and the governor called the state of emergency. And for those of you who have been involved in education in a long time, a state of emergency used to mean different things. It used to mean schools were automatically closed. And I just wanted to let everyone know what the case was with that. So, Mr. President, I thank you for ceding me a little bit of time. I will, for anybody who is not here listening online, my monthly message that will come out via email will also be about our decisions and our decision-making process. And I'm really thankful for the children that you send here each and every day, as well as the team we have sitting here at the dais. I'm glad to be a part of Morristown. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Volpe. I really appreciate those clear, concise words and the sentiment you shared as well. So thank you very much for that. So moving on, we are up to letter D, which will include appointments effective January 4th, 2022 through the next reorganization meeting. Number 1, board secretary and qualified purchasing agent. Number 2, treasurer of school monies. Number 3, affirmative action officer. Number 4, medical inspector. Number 5, public agency compliance officer. Number 6, psychological examiner. And number 7, insurance broker. So I'd like to request approval of items 1 through 7. Do I have a motion? Okay. And all in favor? Okay, abstentions?
I'm abstaining from this and I'm planning to abstain from subsequent agenda items just because of my newness to the board.
Understandable. Any other abstentions?
So I'm abstaining as to 4, 6, and 7.
Cheryl, were you?
Yeah, with 5 minutes on the board, I'm abstaining. Thanks.
I think it's up to 6, but understandable, understandable, no problem. Okay. So any opposed? Okay. So that's 5, 4, 0 abstention, sorry, 0 opposed and 3 abstentions.
Yep.
Okay, the motion carries. All right, letter E, routine matters for reorganization. Number 1, the official newspaper. Number 2, depositories. Number 3, bank signatories. Number 4, ratification of past board action, bargaining group reorganization. Number 5, readoption of curriculum, district curriculum textbooks and board policies. Number 6, recognized Board of Education standing committees. Number 7, the chart of accounts. Number 8, cooperative purchases. Number 9, procurement of goods and services through state agencies on the state contract. Number 10, the set quote threshold and qualified purchasing agent to award contracts up to bid threshold. Number 11, approved payments of bills between board meetings. And number 12, designation of superintendent. May I request a motion, or I'd like to request a motion for approval of items 1 through 12. Jack, and a second? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Smacaluso. Abstentions?
I'm sorry. I'm gonna abstain from 4, 5, and 12.
You have to tally there. Again, we have 5, 4, 0 against, and 3 abstentions, some with specificity. Okay, so that motion carries. All right, letter F, New Jersey School Board Member Code of Ethics. I have a motion that the Board of Education approve and sign the Code of Ethics forms as attached in Exhibit 22-171, and also in front of you. Okay, thank you, Mr. Snyder. Mr. Fairchild. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions?
I'm not going to abstain from this one.
Okay. Noted. Okay. So that one carries 8-0.
Mr. President, may I just,
Sure.
and if you could sign those,
Mhm.
print your name, sign those, and just leave those at your seat, and I'll collect those at the end. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, everybody, for the cooperation there. All right. Letter G, establishment of petty cash funds as noted in the agenda. May I have a motion to approve the establishment of those petty cash funds? Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Ms. Macaluso abstaining. Okay, any other abstentions? No, okay, seeing none. 6-4, 0 against, 2 abstentions. Motion carries. Letter H, professional services. This includes number 1, the architect of record, number 2, the auditor, number 3, legal services, and number 4, the insurance broker of record. May I have a motion to approve items 1 through 4? Okay, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any abstentions? Okay,
I'm gonna abstain to 1, 2, and 4. I like to make it super.
Secretary. Yes, he's good at this, though. Okay, any opposed? Okay, that one also carries up 5, 4, 0 against, and 3 abstentions. Okay, item 7, employee relations, under letter A. Employee relations, we have one appointment of administrative staff. We have a motion to approve this item. Second? I'm sorry. Lauren?
This should actually be a roll call vote after questions and comments.
Okay, any questions or comments related to this? Okay. Hearing none, may I have a roll call vote, please, Mr. Secretary?
Thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Alberti,
Yes.
Ms. Arcaro Burns,
Yes.
Mr. Fairchild,
Yes.
Mrs. Fowles Macaluso. Yes. Mrs. McCopolis,
Yes.
Ms. Romano,
Yes.
Dr. Snyder,
Yeah.
Mr. Villanueva, Mr. Weeks.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I noticed that we don't have another public comment session, or should we?
We've typically only done one, but we can absolutely open it up.
All right. I think we'll push forward. So are there any, is there any, I guess, new business, old business? I don't see that on here, but used to hearing it at this point. Okay.
Nick, can you just review with us the process for committee assignment and everything going through?
Sure, actually. I appreciate it if everybody wouldn't mind just sending me your preferences. And I'll work with Mr. Snyder, and we'll go through those and look at assignments for committees and have that back to you, I think, pretty quickly. So if we could maybe have all of those by, let's say, Thursday this week, so we could get through those. Mark, do you have anything to add?
Just the off board. Since there's been quite a bit of turnover with the people who were liaising with the I'm sorry. The previous board members who are no longer on the board, a number of them had liaised with certain, so rec. I know a number of, so I just wanted to make sure we had those all covered. So I don't know who has the best.
Yeah, and put out a list of what the off-board alliances were.
Right.
And people can tell us which ones you're interested in.
Okay.
I think that works.
Our typical committee list might be helpful in that because it has the committee structure in columns.
Okay.
And down at the bottom, it has those off boards.
Okay, perfect. I'll send that out to the board, and we can look for a response on that by Thursday. That'd be great. Thank you for mentioning that, because does anybody actually who is a liaison have anything to add about that? Because I do have one for my organization. So I liaise with More Arts, and More Arts wanted to share that they have actually moved their gala to a show that will be online. So that was scheduled for, I think it was January 29th. So look for information about that on their website. And then also, we were asked if we could share that there is an organization in town that's providing COVID testing. I believe there's no cost to it, but you are asked to bring your insurance card. It's located at 502 Pleasant Valley Avenue, so just on the other side of Route 38 on Pleasant Valley. So just wanted to share that as well. All right, anything else? Okay.
Else new business or.
New business, old business.
I have something that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to ask or not, so I'll ask it. So with, I appreciate it's a response to Mr. Volpe's remarks, and then just a clarifying question, if you're able to share any additional information. I appreciate understanding the criteria that would force us into remote learning. Kind of simplistically, it seems like it would be either safety or staffing. And I was just wondering if you could share any insights or kind of signals around whether you think we're very close to reaching one of those thresholds, and when we would expect to hear from you if we are getting closer. Like, what should we be planned for as a board and a parent community?
Very difficult to say. It's a moving target. And even, staff members, other administrators have asked. Some districts that have had to do this have had to do it late Sunday, middle of the night, as they're crunching numbers. I'm anticipating that we are in good shape right now, in good shape to be open. We are having difficulty dealing with everything. Everyone's doing a great job, I mean, when we're in good shape. But I will try to alert the community as well as the board and board leadership as soon as I know everything. But I would simply be speculating right now. One day to the next could be very different.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Following up on that, Mr. Volpe, would it be possible, like, to say there's a percentage threshold, or is it too complex because it depends on who the staffing is or whatever?
It's very complex. And the only thing that I do want to say is if we do go to remote instruction, in the past, most districts, pretty much closed the district. We could be in situations where we closed individual schools due to staffing or transmission, and the rest of the district was open. So, Mr. President, it really depends on who is out and where and when and why. I like things regular and predictable. I like processes. This is irregular and not predictable, but you can count on me communicating it as soon as we know things.
Great, appreciate it. Thank you. Any other comments or questions related to that? Okay, seeing none, then I can ask for a motion for adjournment. You guys can fight it out. All right. All in favor? No abstentions? Opposed? Okay. All right, very good. All right, thank you, everybody. I get to bang this now, right?